What a night in Chicago. The city was alive with anticipation, every street buzzing with the energy of hopeful fans. From the Loop to the North Side, you could feel the excitement building as game time approached. Wrigley Field was absolutely electric for Game 3 of the National League Wildcard Series between the Cubs and Padres. The iconic ballpark, glowing under the stadium lights, was packed to the brim with fans who had waited all year for this moment. The city buzzed with nervous excitement, winner take all, and the fans were ready to witness history. Outside the stadium, crowds gathered early, tailgating and sharing stories, united by their love for the Cubs. The Cubs hadn't won a postseason series since 2017, and hope filled the air. Fans clutched homemade signs and wore their lucky jerseys, believing this could finally be the year. Every pitch, every swing, every cheer felt monumental. The tension was palpable, with every play drawing gasps and roars from the crowd. The crowd was a sea of blue, living every moment with the team. Generations of fans, young and old, stood shoulder to shoulder, hearts pounding with every inning. When the final out was made, the Cubs clinched the series 3-1, and Wrigley erupted in celebration. Players leapt into each other's arms, and the stadium shook with the sound of pure elation. Strangers hugged, high fives flew, and "Go Cubs Go" echoed through the night. The joy was contagious, spreading from the stands to the streets outside. It was a moment of pure joy for a city hungry for October glory. For many, it was a night they'd remember for the rest of their lives, a reminder of why baseball means so much in Chicago. The Cubs had done it. The party in Wrigleyville was just beginning, and the city was ready to celebrate deep into the night. The game began as a tense pitcher's duel, but the Cubs broke through in the second inning. 4 straight Cubs reached base, rattling Padres starter Yu Darvish. Pete "Crow" Armstrong delivered a clutch RBI single, igniting the crowd and giving the Cubs a 1-0 lead. The pressure mounted, and Darvish was pulled with the bases loaded. Dansby Swanson worked a bases-loaded walk, making it 2-0 Cubs. The rally showcased the Cubs' patience and discipline at the plate. Though the Padres escaped further damage, the Cubs had seized control. That second innings surge set the tone for the rest of the night. With a 2-run lead in the early going, Cubs starter Jameson Taillon took the mound at Wrigley Field, determined to set the tone for the afternoon. His focus was evident from the first pitch, as he worked quickly and confidently, challenging Padres hitters with a mix of fastballs and breaking balls. Taillon delivered 4 shutout innings, keeping the Padres off balance and unable to mount any real threat. His command was sharp, and he worked efficiently, getting ahead in the count and forcing weak contact. He struck out 4 batters and allowed just 2 hits, setting a confident tone for the Cubs. Each out seemed to build his momentum, and his teammates fed off his energy. In the 4th inning, Michael Busch stepped up and crushed a solo homer deep into the right field bleachers, extending the Cubs' lead to 3-0 and sending the Wrigley Field crowd into a frenzy of cheers and excitement. The Cubs' pitching and timely hitting were perfectly in sync, with players in the dugout high-fiving and celebrating every big moment. The energy in the stadium was electric. Pete "Crow" Armstrong also dazzled the crowd with a highlight reel catch in center field, robbing Manny Machado of extra bases and preserving the shutout with a spectacular leap at the wall. The Cubs played clean, fundamental baseball, pitching, defense, and power all working together seamlessly. Every player contributed, making smart plays and supporting each other. Busch's home run felt like a knockout blow, energizing the team and the fans alike. The Cubs' confidence was unmistakable as they continued to build on their lead. With the Cubs in command and just 6 outs from victory, the atmosphere at Wrigley was electric, as fans sensed a big win was within reach. Even with a 3-0 lead heading into the 9th, the Cubs couldn't afford to let their guard down. The Padres, known for their late-game heroics, were determined to make things interesting and keep their season alive. The tension in the air was unmistakable as the Cubs prepared to face the top of the Padres' order. Jackson Merrill wasted no time, launching a solo homer to right field. The ball sailed over the fence, slicing the Cubs' lead to 3-1 and instantly silencing the once boisterous crowd. Suddenly, the momentum seemed to shift, and the Padres' dugout came alive with hope. Cubs reliever Brad Keller, feeling the pressure, lost his command. He hit 2 consecutive batters, putting the tying runs on base with nobody out. The Cubs' bullpen began to stir as the situation grew more dire. The tension was palpable. Wrigley Field held its breath, every fan on edge, fearing a late collapse. Manager Craig Counsell made the call to the bullpen, signaling for Andrew Kittredge, the Cubs' reliable setup man, to take the mound and try to extinguish the Padres' rally. Kittredge faced the heart of the Padres lineup, with the season hanging in the balance. Every pitch felt like it could decide the game, and the crowd watched in near silence. With nerves of steel, Kittredge induced a harmless pop-up, then a routine flyout, shutting down the Padres' threat and sealing the win for Chicago. The stadium erupted in a wave of relief and celebration, the tension finally breaking as fans and players alike rejoiced. The Cubs' pitching and defense had held strong under immense pressure, executing when it mattered most, and refusing to let the game slip away. They survived the scare, overcame adversity, and secured their spot in the next round, proving their resilience on the biggest stage. Wrigley Field roared with pride as the Cubs moved on, their championship dreams still alive. With the 3-1 win, the Cubs clinched their first postseason series since 2017. The celebration was a release of years of hope and waiting. Next up, a showdown with the division rival Milwaukee Brewers in the NLDS. The twist? Cubs manager Craig Counsell faces his former team, where he became the winningest manager in Brewers history. Counsell's return to Milwaukee adds drama to an already intense rivalry. The Cubs carry momentum, strong pitching, and belief into the next round. The journey isn't over. The NLDS awaits and the Cubs are ready for the challenge. October baseball is alive on the north side.